Is interviewing for a job just a likability contest? Well, the truth is, in a lot of ways, it really is. And not just a likability contest on like who has the best personality, although that's certainly a part of it, but a likability contest on the fact that all these little signs that people get when they interview you as to whether or not you're on top of your crap really play into a much higher degree than people think. Meaning, like, if you have a really well-organized resume that goes down and has relevant job experience to the job, it's an automatic check. Okay, this person has their stuff together. They show up 15 minutes early to the interview. They're dressed in a suit or, slacks and a blouse. They are, doing what they're supposed to do. They immediately send a thank you note as soon as they hit their car from their email telling you that they're really looking forward to next steps. And when they show up and, they're coming for the job, they've got their LinkedIn profile organized, optimized, everything. Now, another thing that I see, and I'll tell you guys, I'm a hiring manager and I have interviewed hundreds of people over the years. And I've also had to interview for jobs myself. So I know to a good extent what works at most companies. Now, there's always going to be outliers, but in general, one of the things that I see people do all the time where they make a mistake is they jump straight into work in the interview process. So if you do get an interview in this absolutely abysmal 2025 job market and you get in there, don't just start jumping into your resume history all the way at the start. One of the ways that companies often start interviews, and one of the ways that I've always started interviews, is before we start talking about work, let us get to know you a little bit. Where are you from? Tell us a little bit about yourself. And what 90% of people do is just jump into a chronological, download of their resume. We're going to get to that in the interview anyway. I'm not trying to tell you your whole life story. And there are hiring managers, I will admit, that try to use this to figure out if people have kids, if they're going to be tied up a lot of the time, how much they're going to be available. But for most normal people that are just trying to hire somebody that's like going to do a good job that they'll like working with, what it really comes down to most of the time is like, I just kind of want to know who I'm going to work with and make sure that I'm going to enjoy having to spend 8 to 10 hours a day with this person all the time. And so if you can do that, if you can check the box that you're just normal, that people will just be able to get along with you on a regular basis, I would tell you that those are the most important things. And another thing that happens in the interview process is people forget that when I've coached people to interview, they forget that the other person also wants to do a good job, be well perceived, and be liked as well. So ask them how they are, ask them how long they worked at the company, what they like about working there, get to know them a little bit as well. It's a back and forth. It's supposed to be the forming of a relationship. And we all know that a relationship that's one-sided never works. So tell me, is, in your opinion, interviewing a likability contest?